What up guys, it's your boy Mike, aka New Yorker in the Philippines, and today we're going to be talking about where you should move in the Philippines. This is going to be part one of a series I'm doing about all the different places you can choose to live in the Philippines. So I'm going to be telling you guys about different locations, about kind of what makes them great, what makes them different, what makes them special, and also the cons, what makes them not so great. I'm going to give you guys, how I do it, the inside out, the good and the bad of every place. But today's episode, we're going to be talking about Manila versus Cebu City, right? So this is two popular destinations for expats because they're two of the most developed places in the Philippines, right? There's a lot of similarities between Manila and Cebu, and there's also a lot of differences. So in this video, we're going to cover everything we can. I've lived in both of these places, so I have first-hand knowledge I'm going to pass to you guys. So if you're thinking of moving to the Philippines and you have Cebu and you have Manila on your radar, stick around and I'll cover everything you need to know about both of these places. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing Cebu versus Manila. So these videos are not me trying to sell you on one or the other. I'm not a real estate agent, you know what I mean? So I don't care if you go to Cebu, I don't care if you go to Manila. I'm just here to try to help you guys decide because you could only learn so much looking through a screen, right? So I'm trying to be the guide for you guys, do the best I can. So let's get into the video. My number one point about Cebu is the people. The Cebuano people are some of the friendliest people I've met in the Philippines. And let me just say, there's like a theme in all these expat videos, in my videos too, where people are saying Filipino people are so nice, Filipino people are so polite, etc, etc. That's all true, but I think Cebuano people were just on another level of like niceness. They were like, I was like really taken back when I first moved there a few years ago. I thought honestly that people were just acting like that for like customer service, stuff like that, but 2 years later, and it's the same thing. The people are so nice. Cebuanos are some of the chillest people. That's something you hear about Cebu a lot, right? Compared to Manila, it's more chill, which I hate using that word because it's hard to define what chill is, right? You can find a chill place to relax right in the middle of New York City. That doesn't mean New York City is chill, but it's a vibe, it's an atmosphere, it's a feeling. When you go to Cebu, it's a little more slow-paced than Manila. People are not in such a rush. I found that people in Cebu are more willing to strike up a conversation with you if you're a foreigner, if you're a stranger, at least in my experience. Find somebody that's Cebuano or someone that's from the Visayas region because they're always more talkative, They want to have a conversation with me, and that's just something I noticed and something that stuck with me. Even now in Manila, I could always pick out a Cebuano out of the crowd, So shout out to my boys and my girls in Cebu. You guys are so awesome. That's number one reason. If you like friendly people, you can't go wrong with the Philippines, but you certainly can't go wrong with Cebu. Number two, location, location, location. So Cebu is an amazing location if you're a first-time person visiting the Philippines because it's a central hub right in the middle of the island, right? So if you're moving here and you want to see Cebu, but you also want to see the surrounding islands of the Philippines, Cebu is an amazing launch pad, an amazing home base. So pull up a map of the Philippines, look where Cebu is. It's going to be, boom, smack dab right in the middle, right? So if you're in Cebu, you have so much options, right? So I wrote this down, right? You have Leyte to the east. You have Bacolod and Iloilo to the west. You have Dumaguete and Siquijor to the south. You have the Masbate Islands directly north of you. So those are just places that are surrounding Cebu. You could easily hop a ferry or a very short plane ride and get to those amazing surrounding islands. The thing is, Cebu also has a lot of beautiful things in itself, right? Beaches. There's an island, or not an island, but there's a beach in Cebu called Oslob, Oslob, where it's very famous for whale watching. There is Lapu-Lapu Island south of Cebu, which you could drive to. It's basically where the airport is. There's a ton of nice little beaches and resorts down there. So if you're in Cebu, you have no shortage of beautiful places surrounding you. And that's one of the main benefits, I think, because you can live the city life in Cebu City, and then within a couple hours, you can be here, there, or anywhere beautiful. So I think that's a big benefit of living in Cebu. Number three, it's all about that moolah. So in my opinion, Cebu is a little bit cheaper than Manila's going to be. This comes with a little bit of a caveat though. So in some things, I didn't notice too much of a difference. So let me be real. Like I said before, I try to keep it real with you guys. And of course, with the video, if I'm making points about Cebu, it would be great to just say Cebu is so much cheaper. But in actuality, it really depends, right? So Cebu can be much cheaper than Metro Manila, but there's so many places in both areas. It really depends where you're staying at, right? But in my opinion, we've seen some cheaper rental options in Cebu. But if you're staying in the nicest areas, such as like IT Park or business district like Ayala Park by the mall, then the rent is not going to be so much different than Metro Manila, in my opinion. Unless you're talking about the top end spots like Bonifacio Global City in Manila, that can get expensive, but that's expensive compared to the rest of Manila too. If you're outside of that, then I think the top areas in both are quite comparable as far as rent. But the thing is, if you go a little bit outside of the areas, then Cebu you see the drop off much quicker as far as rent prices go. So you could find basically more deals, is what I'm saying, in Cebu. There's definitely lower prices if you look around. Also, we found the food to be much cheaper in Cebu. We also found entertainment like restaurants, eating out, movie theaters to be a little cheaper in Cebu as well. So if you want to save some money, I think Cebu is a good option in that regard. So overall, if you're looking at a place to live and you're looking at Cebu, let's talk about some of the reasons. Let's highlight some of the stuff I just talked about. So in my opinion, Cebu is a better place if you don't like the hustle and bustle of the big city. If you want sort of the best of both worlds, that kind of atmosphere, I think Cebu is a great choice because it offers a little bit of both, right? You can live in Cebu City and you can get access to all the city amenities, the luxuries, like, all the malls, stuff like that. But you're closer to nature. You can live in Lapu-Lapu, a little bit south of Cebu, and then you can access all the amenities still. So if you want to be closer to the mountains, closer to the water, stuff like that, I think Cebu is a great choice. Also, the pace, is a little slower in Cebu. So if you're looking for like a chill atmosphere, maybe you're not into the bar scene as much, you want to do more hiking or snorkeling, beaches, I think Cebu is a good pick. If you're a little older, you want to raise a family, I think Cebu is a good choice. If you are looking for somewhere a little bit cheaper, a little more calm, a little bit less traffic, a little less crowded, all those things are in Cebu's favor, in my opinion. In addition, like I said, if you're a first-time traveler in the Philippines, Cebu is a great launch pad location because of its central location in the Philippines. It's in the middle of the country, so you have easy access, quick access to a lot of different islands in every direction. So those are some of the reasons why I would pick Cebu. Now, let's talk about why I would pick Manila. Alright guys, time to put Manila on the map. So when I say Manila in this video, I'm talking about the entire metro, right? We're talking about Metro Manila, from Manila all the way down to the other side of Marikina and everything in between. So, let me start off by saying that I think that Manila is underrated as hell. I think Manila is super underrated. I think it gets a lot of unwarranted hate from the expat community. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's one of those things. It feels like an echo chamber where somebody just said it and then people that never been here just repeat it like a parrot. Like, Manila sucks, Manila's crowded, Manila's polluted. It's like, listen dude, I understand that those are problems that Manila has, but a lot of places in the Philippines have those problems, and there's a lot of awesome things, and there's a lot of benefits in Manila that you can't get elsewhere. So I'm going to put Manila on the map, like I said. We're going to talk about what makes Manila amazing, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite cities I've lived in overall, so let's get to it. So let me start off by addressing that thing I just said about how Manila is underrated. People think it's a big toxic cloud of car exhaust, and yeah, that is actually true in some areas, but Manila is versatile, man. Manila is diverse, and that is my number one thing I love about Manila that people might not understand or might not know, is that there's so much diversity here. There's so much versatility here. So let me talk about that for a second, right? So Metro Manila, you're thinking of traffic jams, you're thinking of crowded streets, you're thinking of stuff like that. But there's so many beautiful places in Metro Manila and surrounding Metro Manila. So let's talk about the metro itself first. So, I mean, we have places here, there's cities here, right? So if you're a city boy or you like big city, you want that clean infrastructure of a big city, there's nothing comparable in the Philippines to Metro Manila. The places like Bonifacio Global City, places like Makati, then there's little places, right, like Eastwood City, like Alibang, like Manila Bay area. there's so many amazing, beautiful places in Metro Manila that I think are just often overlooked. So if you want somewhere like Bonifacio Global City, like I said, you can't find that anywhere else in the Philippines. That level of just like sterile, clean, organized infrastructure, right? And that's not what everybody's going for, and I respect that, right? Not everyone's coming to the Philippines to live like an American. Obviously, that makes sense. You know, there's nothing wrong with living on a beach life, living more rural, living province. I'm just saying that if you want something like that, you want a big city, you're not going to find anything better than Metro Manila. So it has that. Also, I think that people forget that Metro Manila and Manila as a whole is on a bigger island called Luzon. And what does that mean? That means that there is nature and there's beaches around Manila too. So people automatically think Cebu is better because Cebu's by the beaches. But let me tell you, if you're living in Cebu City itself, you still gotta drive quite a while to get to the nice beaches, right? There's some closer beaches, but they're not like the white sand beaches you're thinking of. Those are still a few hour drive usually. And in Manila, it's not that much different, right? So if you're on Luzon Island, you could take a car from Metro Manila. If you're going north, you can go to La Union, which is the surf capital of the Philippines. You can go south, and then you can go to Batangas, and you could be 2 hours either direction in beautiful beaches as well. There's also other places like mountains. There's different landscapes. You can go north again to Baguio City, and you could be out of this heat. It's one of the only places in the Philippines where you can get that cold weather. You can go south. You can go to Tagaytay. You could be in the mountains overlooking a beautiful scenery. So I think a thing that people don't realize about Manila and Metro Manila as a whole is that it's part of a bigger island, and it does have that beautiful nature, those beautiful landscapes, and you can drive to them too. So that's a benefit I think people overlook. Alright, so the number 2 thing I like about living in Manila is accessibility. So Manila is the NCR, or Nation's Capital Region of the Philippines. So what exactly does that mean? That means that basically everything runs through Manila, right? It's the central hub of the country. It's sort of the heartbeat of the Philippines. People are moving over here, government-wise, professional-wise, entertainment-wise. A lot of the top things are running through Manila. And as someone that lives here, those benefits and that infrastructure trickles down to you in different ways. So let's talk about what I mean a little bit. So if you look up the top 10 hospitals in the Philippines, you're going to notice that 8 out of the top 10 are in Metro Manila. Why is this? It's because, like I said, it's the central hub, it's the main district. Professionals are moving over there. That doesn't mean that there can't be good hospitals or good stuff other places. It just means that, you know, a lot of the top people are going to Manila because that's where the opportunity is, right? It's an opportunity for them, and it's also an opportunity for you as someone that's moving to Philippines to take advantage of that. The same thing happens in different ways. So for example, if you're into shopping, or if you're into like concerts, entertainment, a lot of bands, for example, right? Maybe you want to see a live band. I was actually surprised because a lot of live bands tour in the Philippines, a lot of local American big bands, big names. But the thing is, a lot of them will only stop in Manila. Sometimes there's going to be multiple stops in the Philippines. It's rare, but sometimes it happens. But the thing is, it's almost always in Manila, right? So if they are having 2, one's going to be in Manila. And if they're having 1, it's most likely that one's going to be in Manila. So some benefits of living in the capital region is that you're getting that accessibility. You're in the middle of the action. And that could be a negative or a positive depending on how you look at it. Of course, it's a negative because it's congested. There's a lot of people. There's traffic. It's busy. But it's also a positive because you're close to a lot of the best things. People come through for entertainment tours, stuff like that. So you gotta look at both sides of being the nation's capital region. It comes with its pros and cons, but I think there's a lot of perks to it, to be honest. Alright, so number 3, the mail, right? So this might sound like a petty thing. You know what they call me? Petty Roosevelt, President Petty Roosevelt. But honestly, getting the mail is such a nice change of pace from living in Cebu, right? Because we're so used to Amazon in America. Let's be real. I mean, if you're watching this from America, I will say like 99% of you guys have Amazon Prime. And then we're used to just like, oh man, I want to get that thing. Click the button. It's at our doorstep the same day, maybe the next day, the latest. Here, it's not going to be the same, right? Is it a big deal? No, it's not a big deal sometimes. It's first world problems, but it's something that we're used to. And just because it's not a big deal doesn't mean you have to give it up, right? I hate that mindset where it's like, man, like, who cares? It's like, listen, dude, it's not hurting you if somebody cares about getting their mail quicker. It's just like anything else in the world. There's a lot of things we have in our life that we don't necessarily need. We want. They're luxuries, they're entertainments, they're like whatever they are, right? They just make us happier, they make our life easier. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So don't get it twisted. But living in Cebu, when I would get my mail, I would be ordering stuff, and it would probably take around, a week to 10 days to get my order. Whereas in Manila, I'm ordering stuff on Lazada, and a lot of the places have 24 to 48 hour express delivery, so it's just a lot quicker. This could be important if you have to get something urgently as well, because it is what it is, right? Like I said, sometimes you need something for a medical reason or like something like that, and if you order it and you have to wait 10 days and you need it tomorrow, what are you gonna do? It's not like America where you can go outside and get whatever you need, or you could order it next day. It is what it is here, you know what I mean? This is a different country, so those things don't matter to a lot of people until they do matter, right? So think of that. I think it's an added benefit. Definitely for me, it's a perk, is getting your mail faster in Manila. The number 4 perk for me is actually transportation. So you're probably thinking, Mike, what are you talking about transportation? Manila stinks for transportation. Did you see the traffic outside? Yeah, I know what you mean, but let me be honest with you. When I was living in Cebu, the traffic was supposed to be so much better. Manila was supposed to be so much worse. But in my experience, it wasn't that much different, because Manila does have a lot of cars on the road. There certainly is a lot of traffic. But when I was in Cebu, it was also the same amount of traffic sometimes during rush hour, because in Manila, there's a little bit better infrastructure. A lot of the roads have 1, 2, 3 lanes, and there's a few different ways to get to the same place. Where in Cebu, a lot of the places were single lane roads, 2 at the most. So even though there's less cars on the road, there's also less places for those cars to go. So the traffic ended up not being so much different. In addition, I think that there's just some perks of living in Manila. Like I said, in Cebu, depending on where I was, if I wasn't in Center City, I was a little more out in the province like that, I had a hard time getting a Grab. So in Manila, so easy to get a Grab. You could flag a taxi or a Grab in seconds here. In addition, there's also like just extra accessible transportation here. Like there's a train, there's rail system, which isn't in Cebu. So there's different ways of getting here, getting around here. Jeepney and bus is the same in both places, though in my experience, the bus system is a little bit easier and a little bit more robust in Manila. And also the airports. So there's 2 airports. There's an airport in Manila and there's an airport in Cebu. Technically in Lapu-Lapu, south of Cebu, but whatever. It's in Cebu. But the thing is, the airport in Manila is more accessible as far as traveling international. So if you're an American and you want to get an international flight, you could do it from both airports, but not to every place. Manila is going to offer you more direct flights, and one of those direct flights happen to be to the United States of America. So you can't do that from Cebu. You have to do that from Manila. So if you're going back, you have an emergency, or family's coming to visit you, vice versa. One of the perks of living in Manila is that you have that one-way ticket, airport to airport, you can get dropped off. This is going to depend also where you live in US, but in New York, we can go straight from JFK to Manila Airport and vice versa. Then my final reason why you might like Manila better than Cebu is the nightlife. So, I'm on my dad life right now, so I ain't doing that nightlife. But I used to love to go to clubs when I was in New York. I was always in Webster Hall. I was big into music. I'm a musician myself, so I like dance music. I like seeing concerts, all that stuff, right? So I know how it is. There is a good bar scene in Cebu. There's stuff to do, definitely in Cebu City. But it's just on another level here in Manila. I'm just being straight up. That's just how it is. There's so much more options. There's a lot more nightclubs. There's a lot more bars. There's a lot more different areas to go to. Like, you know what I mean? In Manu, what the I just combined Manila and Cebu into... Okay, you want to live in both places? Manu. But anyway, in Cebu, what I was going to say is there's like a... Cebu City IT Park, and then there's like Mango Street, which is like a little sketchy, and then that's about it really, if you want to do nightlife. Where in Manila, there's so many places you can go to. All those places I named basically have bars, have nightlife. Whether you're in Eastwood, Little Eastwood has its own little areas. Bonifacio Global City has some of the best clubs, best bars, a little more upscale. Makati, same thing, lots of bars, lots of upscale. Anywhere you can go. You go up north a little bit on the island to Clark, Angela City. I'm sure a lot of the expats know about Angela City. So there's a lot of options. If you're into nightlife, if you're single, ready to mingle, and you're coming here, and you're into that style, then yeah, it might be better for you to head to Manila, because I think it has a more robust nightlife in my opinion. So to sum it up, let me just talk a little bit about my final thoughts on this. So I think that there's pros and cons to living to both. I really hate when people act like subjective opinions or objective facts, right? That's not something I like to do. I don't like to speak in absolutes. I just like to give you guys my opinion, right? What works better for me might not work better for you. What one person likes better, another person might not, right? That's just life. That's how it is, and that's the beauty of it. You can pick whichever you choose. To me, I like Manila better simply because it resonates with me more. I'm a city boy. You know, I think the cities are more city-like here in Manila. In Cebu City, I felt it was more like a big barangay, which is not a knock on it. It's just not what I was looking for, you know what I mean? It just wasn't me. To me, Manila is more homey, it's more comfy, it makes me feel a little more relaxed, and I understand that some people don't like that vibe, right? And that's perfectly fine. But you have to find what you like, right? So if you like nature, if you like being in a more slow-paced environment, if you like the friendly people, but you don't mind giving up some of those modern accessibility luxuries like I mentioned, then I think Cebu is a great place to live. If you're looking for something more fast-paced, more center of the city, more accessible to like the top areas here, if you're looking for more nightlife, you're single and you want to do that kind of thing, then I think Manila is a great place to live. So either way, I don't think you can go wrong. They're both excellent choices. In the end, it comes down to what you like. So watch this video, go over the pros and cons of what I said, and just pick what works for you. As always, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace! My boy, Teddy Boy. We're coming to you live from YouTube. It's my boy, Teddy Boy. Yeah.